everyone, and welcome to the Bearded Geeks, the weekly grab bag of topics covering movies, comics, video games, and TV. My name is Jags. I am the Beard Master. With me today, Bobby Baxter, and making his second appearance on the show, it's Mark Beresford. Men.
Hello.
Sasha away.
Yeah. Shantae, you stay.
Who's the best on RuPaul's Drag Race? What's her name?
Alaska Thunderfuck.
Alaska Thunderfuck.
Yeah, she was season 3 All-Star?
Ooh,
season
early.
2 All-Star.
Oh, All-Star, so...
Yeah, and I think she was in season 7 or season 6.
And what are we up to now?
Well,
They're doing...
13, 14 or something?
Yeah, they're doing 12, I think. They're doing 11 or 12.
Is all of that available on Stan?
Yep.
Yeah.
With Untucked.
I think it's...
And the All-Star and the All-Star Untucked.
It's coming out as it comes out at the moment, isn't it? I think
same day.
Hales has been watching, like, week to week sort of thing, yeah.
Mark's recommendation today is RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, all of them.
I should give it a try. Is it worth it?
It's good. Like, I mean, if you're going to watch fucking shitty, trashy TV, that's the best shitty, trashy TV you can get.
Okay.
Because it's like that kind of TV, but it totally doesn't take itself seriously either. It's like just fucking over the top fun. Like, yeah.
And
Bobby will remember one of my most excited moments in New York was getting back to the Airbnb and realizing that RuPaul's Drag Race was on live, like an episode live, and just
we're not going sightseeing today.
Losing my
RuPaul's
shit.
Drag Race is on.
Yeah, we're staying in.
Yeah. I look over after 5 minutes. Bobby's just passed out. I'm like, you're missing it.
I'll catch it on Stan.
Now, if anyone knows, back in the day, Marky was on our 35th anniversary retrospective, which was like our 8th episode, I think. Our 6th or 7th or 8th episode. It wasn't that far in.
Jesus.
So, welcome back. Marky's in town for work, and he wanted to come into pod. So, it's all his fault.
Yeah, that's true.
I think this episode's going to be uncut today because I've been drinking and I don't really want to edit it. So it's just uncut episode. Bearded Geeks Raw.
Nice.
So feel free to say.
Whoa. All right, cunts. Let's get real.
Let's get real. Let's do it. How are you going, Bob?
Yeah, I'm all right.
That's good.
doing
Mark,
okay.
I've seen you for 2 days. How you going?
Yeah. I got a Darth Vader cup full of booze.
Yep.
Getting into it.
It's my Darth Vader cup, to be honest. Yeah. I got a Batman one in there as well. I got like an R2D2. I got a couple of Batman ones. I did see EB have got like a fucking Mr. Sparkle, like heat up mug. It's got like the fish and the light bulb on the other side. When it heats up, it's like the Mr. Sparkle fucking logo. And it's massive too. You would love to drink booze out of that because you fit a lot in it. I really want it.
They got all the tiki mugs and shit too.
Fuck the tiki mugs. I hate the tiki
I
mugs.
got
They're shit.
like fucking 5 or 6 Star Wars tiki mugs at home.
Okay.
They work.
They got the they got the squishy drink bottle as well. So you can get a squishy drink bottle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll take you and show you tomorrow.
Yeah.
What are we doing today? We're doing film soundtracks today, aren't we?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, fuck. Let me come up with some. Whoops.
That wasn't a theme that was pulled out of the ass.
You actually suggested this last time you were here, which was like a year and a half ago. You brought up, I remember we had the conversation about doing like a film soundtracks episode.
Jags has got a fucking ridiculously good memory. He remembers all
Yeah.
this shit. He do it to me all the time.
I sure do. My mics are a bit, hang on, uncut. This is raw.
Meanwhile, I still have to punch everybody's address into Google Maps. I actually meant when we went to your place before, I was like, fuck, I need to get Bobby's address. I'm never going to remember my way back here.
No.
Bobby lives at...
Just go to the street that I live at.
So we're going to do a full episode today. So we'll do some recommendations and we'll do some news and we'll do some bloody music. So Bob, you're going to have to pull all of this
Way out of my
your
ass.
voluptuous
Ooh,
ass.
thank you. Much room for pulling out of.
Do the whole reach up in and
Dutch rudder.
careful not to donkey punch. You seen the movie Donkey Punch?
No.
It's fucking terrible.
No.
Is that the one with George Clooney?
No.
Sounds like a Clooney movie.
Yeah, it was try.
Did you hear that story? Did you hear that story about George Clooney? I don't know if this is true or not. You know how George Clooney does like all
That was
the
Richard Gere.
Was it?
No.
No. It was an officer and a gentleman you were thinking of. You know how Clooney does like all the Nescafe ads?
Yeah.
I heard this story that Clooney does those just to pay for like a satellite he has like over the Middle East or some shit like that. So there's no fucking like genocide or anything that breaks out. You can keep an eye on the area or some shit. Like Clooney funds it with his Nescafe money.
He's gone full fucking Batman on the Middle East.
He has.
Oh.
How does George Clooney have a Nescafe satellite when the Earth's flat?
This is true. Which is
flat white.
Joke of the night goes to Bob.
Terrible.
I watched the Flat Earth documentary today on Netflix, the Behind the Curve or Beyond the Curve or whatever the fuck it is. And it's literally just focused on like all flat earthers and that. And I was just like, this is really funny, but really cringe at the same time. Like, people can believe what they want to believe, but they're wrong. Dinosaurs didn't exist. Anti-vaxxers. Bloody, there's a dome over the earth.
Fucking anti-vaxxers. You know what's scary? I was at a festival the other week, and not a big festival, it's the Tomato and Garlic Festival in Tasmania.
It's in full dad mode.
It was massively dad mode.
What are we going to do on Saturday,
like,
honey? Well, there's a bloody Tomato and Garlic Festival.
Southwest or something was on last week.
No. The Tomato and Garlic... I shouldn't really name it, but anyway.
Sponsored pod.
Sponsored by anti-vaxxers.
But they had this garlic eating contest. I think it was like a tomato eating contest and a garlic eating one. And they were midway through, and I think it was like kids doing it, like kids just chowing into as much garlic as they could humanly keep down.
Christ.
And the commentators, like, you know, talking over the top.
He's bloody going for it.
He's going for it, blah, blah, blah. And then he just drops this fucking anti-vaxxer line. Like, you know, oh, no wonder. Something like, oh, no wonder people turning away from vaccines. Like, look at what this garlic's doing to these kids and stuff. And I was just like, Hales and I it was like the record just went, and we're looking around and no one else's ears pinged. And Hales and I just standing there going, the fuck? Did you just hear? Like, this guy's presenting to an entire, like, you know, the festival's not huge, but it's like a few hundred people. And no one's batting an eyelid. And I'm like, oh my God, what part of Tasmania are we in right now? Like,
it's lucky he backed it up with the fucking pro-life apple pie eating contest.
Jesus.
Sponsored by the Hobart Abortion Clinic.
It is just a little scary how much that shit is actually out and permeating into society at the moment. Yeah. I mean, like the stuff in the news with the kids getting the measles, you know, the little babies getting the measles.
Oh, the measles outbreak in Melbourne and that as well.
That's fucked. Like, you know, people talk about the choice of fucking... Oh, man, I'm getting real deep. We should move on because we're going to spend all night talking about this shit. But it's like, you know, fucking... They're always focusing on their right to fucking protect their kids or whatever, but what you're missing is that, like, it affects the entire society when you're fucking not doing that stuff. And, like, those kids, they were too young to be vaccinated, so they have no hope, and then they're getting sick with the measles and this fucking disease has been eradicated, this virus has been eradicated for fucking decades now, and now it's returning, and it's fucking these little kids up. That's fucked. Like,
isn't it funny how it just comes back and you hear like one thing about it, like, I'm not going to vaccinate my kids because that's how they bloody get Asperger's and bloody autism and all this stuff. And then it just grows and it gets bigger and bigger. And then every fucking second cunt you talk to is just like, I don't vaccinate my kids. And I'm like, well, have fun at their funeral.
Honestly, like,
and fucking potentially our kid's funeral.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
it's
fucking
like
right.
It's fucked. Like, it's such a selfish fucking thing they're doing. Yeah,
very stubborn as well. Very selfish. Very stubborn.
Based on complete fucking bullshit that they read on the internet on Facebook. Like,
you know what it fucking is. You know what it fucking is, right? The other day, I went deep delving on YouTube. It's the fucking lizard. It's the lizard people. It's the lizard people that's running the fucking world. The flat earthers.
In
the
association
anti-vaxxers.
with gay frogs.
It's all the same. Alex Jones knows.
Tony Abbott.
They turned the frogs
Tony
gay.
Abbott was a fucking lizard person, if you ever saw one.
These fucking budgie smugglers.
Onion-eating lizard motherfucker.
This onion has so many layers.
This is such an uncut podcast.
Everybody has the right to an opinion.
Even if it's
Just
wrong.
some people shouldn't fucking voice them.
Yeah, yep. Well, I mean, you stepped away from social media this last
I
week
sure
or two?
did. I sure did.
How are you enjoying it?
I'm actually fucking loving it. I brought this up on the last show, the Shazam show I just put out at the end of the show. I just kind of informed everyone. I have stepped away from Facebook personally and my personal Instagram, and so kind of I'm moving our social presence more over to Instagram. Gives me one place, and instead of trying to spread it across 3 places and doing it, half-assed job, I just kind of try to focus it all into one and, put more out there and make it, easy to follow. And instead of drip feeding each one, at a time. So moving more toward Instagram and that now. But yeah, I'm loving it. Like, I just got sick of it, man. Like, I'm sick of Facebook. I'm sick of what it does. I'm sick of just the negativity on there all the time. I'm sick of seeing anti-vaxxer fucking bullshit.
Do you mean you don't like images of the Australian flag with nationalism bullshit slogans put over the top that somehow
and fucking stay-at-home mummies and that. Nothing against stay-at-home mummies, they all do an excellent job, but the bogan stay-at-home mummies fucking posting like pictures. It's like a picture of Clint Eastwood, and it's like, if you don't like me at my fucking worst and don't take me at my best and all that shit, don't mess with my kids and all that fucking pro-Australia, take Australia back from Muslims and shit. And you're like, what the fuck is this? I'm sick of it all. So I got rid of it. I gave myself like a week grace period.
My echo chamber, like, because I've sort of turned off that stuff as it's come. So like my echo chamber on Facebook is so tight, full of like lefty bleeding hearts like myself. But the problem is we're all fucking preaching the same shit to each other, and that drives me crazy. I'm like, I know.
Everyone's just trying to flop out their PC dick to see whose is bigger.
I know, and it's like I agree with everything that all of you guys are saying, but fucking hell, am I sick to death of reading it. I think I'm stepping away too, man. Cause
I gave myself a week grace period. I just put up a status because like a lot of people on Facebook, I don't have their numbers or anything, like friends and stuff. So I just put it out there, and I'm like, look, if you want to get in touch with me, fucking call me. I welcome it. So I exchanged phone numbers with a bunch of people and that, and fucking I got rid of it a week later. The very next day I woke up, just fucking like on reflex, like my alarm goes off, and the first thing I do is go check Facebook. But I've got rid of it, I've uninstalled it, the icon's gone. I'm like, oh fuck. And it just took like a day or two, and now I just don't even think about it, don't even worry about it. Everyone I walk past and they're scrolling past Facebook, I'm like, just get rid of that. You don't need it. Get rid of that.
Everybody's looking for the next controversy on there. That's all it really is now.
It's fucking bullshit. I have more time to do stuff now. Like we're doing the whole Game Maker stuff.
Yep.
I was fucking hanging around the house, and I got like lots of little shit done. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to put that away. And then I was walking around. I'm like, I've got nothing to do. I'm going to go for a walk. Just fucking put me fucking tablet in me pocket and put a bloody podcast on and went for a walk around the neighborhood for an hour. And
for a walk like it was the 1920s.
Yeah.
Go down and get a quart of milk.
Straight out, leave the bottle out the front, leave the wash bottle out the front for the milkman.
Go and see if the store's got some new funnies.
But no, it's good. I don't
Funnies.
I don't miss it whatsoever. I feel better mentally already. I greatly recommend it. Getting rid of Facebook, social media, all that shit. Like, I had Instagram as well. I kept that for like the week after, and then I just like, it's all scrolling. It's all like chicks like half nudes and people on their bloody stories.
There's
like
a little bit of background into Jake's
like my search
process.
thing. Like it's all there.
See, I found with Instagram, like I was talking to you about it a couple of days ago. Like I find Instagram's easier to curate. Like I've kept mine completely art focused, like inspiration art stuff. I follow only other artists, only other cartoonists, that kind of thing.
But that's what I was doing. I just follow like movie nerds like myself, like news websites like Bloody Disgusting and all that sort of stuff. A couple of cosplayers and shit. And that's fucking really about it. Oh, Gundam model makers, that's about it. So you're going through your search, you're like, damn, that's a fucking good RX-782. Fucking look at that. Man. Good job putting that together. But yeah, like I just got sick of it. And like everybody's trying to like get fucking attention on Instagram. And now there's this big trend of...
well, it's a game. It literally is a game of getting attention. That's what Instagram is. It's basically a video game for attention. It's like, how many likes can I get is your score.
Yeah.
How many retweets is kind of like it's like a bonus level score thing. How many follows you got is like your high score. Like, it's basically a video game. It really is.
It's been a fucking challenge to write for magazines, to write for media, and to have your name printed at the bottom. To do that and still try and keep a separation so that, people
you have
don't
to
just...
go through it like an alter ego name for your own stuff kind of thing.
Yeah, so, if anyone ever sees articles by Julio Mumbai McGinty, right here.
It's good fucking though. I don't miss it. Like, everybody's trying to get their bit of attention, their 5 minutes. Somebody will put a post up and then they've got the whole stories thing now. And you just look at someone's stories and it's like, new post up, click here to see my new post. I'm like, fuck. Like, originally Instagram for me was just like, I'll just put stuff out there I like, and if people come across it and they dig it, well, that's cool. Might make some friends, can chat about movies and stuff. And now it's all just like, it's nice getting a bit of attention and whatever, because we all want to be noticed, we all want to feel special or whatever, but it's just fucking, I'm just sick of it, man. I don't need it. I'd rather people get attention in my real life. Like, hey, how you going? Come around. Let's hang out. Let's do that instead. Fucking whatever. Let's make memories.
I've dropped off virtually all social media, but I'll probably stay on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, that's not too bad. I've got a good, probably like 8 years worth of gig photos. I'm like, I'll just throw those up there.
I think it being like a visual first kind of thing, I think it is a lot easier to filter out it getting too bogged
personal
down in that kind of link sharing and political kind of debates and all that sort of shit. Like, like or you can just choose to like not be a part of it. Whereas Facebook, it's kind of like
it gets shoved in your face.
Yeah, and there's a political side of it too, to just your friends group, where you just like you kind of have to accept friends that like everybody that you know, but you might not particularly want to know the inner workings of everyone you know. It's like family, like random family members, and you're like,
we've all got the racist family member.
Or just like the one that you've never met, and suddenly they're just posting like just fucking annoying shit all the time, and you're like, but you sort of like, well, I'm obliged to have them on my thing because we share the same last name or some shit.
And it goes down to even having the apps on your phone or your tablet or whatever.
Yep.
Like, fucking sent you that message the other day about the hit on YouTube. The first video that came up on YouTube. So we're sitting there playing Mud Runners for 4 hours, just banging on about this game.
Fucking great game. I played it tonight. It's awesome.
None of my accounts were attached to any of this activity. I pick up my laptop last night, I think it was, and the first result that was on YouTube is Mud Runners good with a steering wheel?
Because we had this massive conversation because Mark's really into like simulator games, like farming sims, bus driving sims, any kind of sims. Like, you're really into it. And he was mentioning to me like Harvey Norman's got like a big fucking tractor simulator, like fucking steering wheel and console and pedals and all that. And he was thinking about getting it. Showed it to me and whatever, and then we played Mud Runners, and he literally took a screen grab and sent it to me, and he's like, the fuck is this? It's like a YouTube thumbnail, big red arrow pointing to it, big circle around it. It's just like, is Mud Runners good to play with a steering wheel? And I was like, is Mud Runners good to play with a steering wheel? And he's like, I'll let you know.
Watch this.
He's like, I'll let you know in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Google, but goddamn you. I actually want to watch that.
That's a good segue into our recommendations. I'm going to recommend Mud Runners.
I'm going to recommend getting off social media.
Yes, I absolutely recommend getting off social media if you don't need it. I feel so much better for getting off social media. It was just fucking... I didn't even think about it. Like, it got to the point where, like, 10 years ago, I could sit and I could watch, like, 4 or 5 movies a day and just consume them. Like, it was a different time for me. I had less responsibility in that back then. You know, I didn't really have any...
Yeah, that's like a fucking record holding
so
day for me.
I'd pretty much... I'd go to work, I'd come home, and I'd just fucking watch movies, play games, or whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, I can't even get through a fucking movie because I don't even think about it. I just pick up my phone and start to scroll while I'm watching a movie. And then I get zoned into that for 2 minutes, and then I look up and realize I've missed 2 minutes of fucking movie, got to rewind it. And I'm just like, now I don't even worry about it. I can sit down, I can watch a movie. Like, it was just fucking habit, and I hated it. And I fucking hated it. So now I'm rid of it. And yeah, it's good. It's good. I fucking love it. I've only got the pod Instagram and that now, and that's fucking it.
That's how I end up watching most of my movies, is on the plane. Like flying around places.
Well, you can't use Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you can't use your fucking phone.
Yeah, that's true. What was your other recommendation? Muck Runners. What?
Muck Runners.
Muck Runners.
Mudrunner.
Mudrunner.
If anyone doesn't know,
Muckrakers.
Mudrunner is like it's essentially like a driving simulator, but it's like a kind of a sandbox. You kind of have like sandbox levels, and essentially what it is you have to drive like trucks and that from one place to like a log farm and load up on lumber, and then you have to deliver it to like the other side. That's essentially...
It sounds insanely boring, doesn't it?
Yeah, that is like the crux of the game, but it's all about like a driving simulator and that, but you drive them through bogs, so you're driving through mud, so it's all like mud physics and stuff, and you can get stuck, you got to be careful not to tip your cars over, you got like a wench on the front of your truck, you know, you can attach it to trees. A wench. I've just got this bloody wench.
Excuse me, sir! Harketh me down from the front of this truck! Harketh? I don't know.
I've got a winch.
That's what wenches say, isn't it?
That's a typical wench saying.
I've got a winch on the front, and you can winch yourself out of like muck, but you got to like drive through water. It's all like very rough conditions and stuff.
Fresh in your drinks, governor!
Yes, wench! But yeah, that's my recommendation, and also I love Death and Robots. Do you have a recommendation, Bob, on the spot? Game Maker Studio 2?
Yeah, I suppose.
Getting off social media?
I suppose, yeah, maybe Game Maker. That's something I've been doing. So, yeah, dipping my toes into indie stuff with Jags, and fucking decided to give this little 2D engine a go, because it seems like relatively easy to program in, so... Because I can't fucking program to save my life.
Coding is the hardest part. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Once you get, like, give us another 2 years and we've got our head around coding language, we might be able to do something significant. But at the moment, we're kind of just dipping our toe in and just playing around. And,
yeah. I'm absolutely fan-fucking-tastic at, like, doing tutorials and following instructions. But... if you sat the fucking script editor down in front of me and said, make this thing happen, I'd just look at it and go,
incident.
If player wants this, then that? I don't know. Yeah, like I watch the videos and I can follow them easy enough, and I like, you know, I've made like the little 2D platformer thing and the guy jumping around, and like animated my own little sprites for it and stuff like that. So I've actually like I've built a little platformer, no enemies or anything yet, but I'm pretty proud of like just getting to that stage.
So you fucking
should
be.
A couple of weeks ago, I would have been like, what? But if you told me to turn around tomorrow and like remake that thing that I just made without using the videos that I did, I'd be fucked.
Just reverse the gravity all of a sudden.
I think my computer would just be on fire in about 15 minutes because I'd like set off some infinite loop and it'd just like crash the shit out of my computer. But yeah, fucking, it's actually. Like, if you've got good tutorials, and there's heaps of shit on YouTube and stuff as well, and we bought, like, a little course on Udemy, or whatever that site's called.
Yeah, udemy.com, udemy.com.
And that's got a little, like a sort of introduction to making a game in Game Maker Studio.
You actually happened across that pretty successfully because you checked it a day, they were full price, and then you came back like 2 days later and they had like a 90% off sale. So there was like a $150 course and we paid like $12 each for it.
Yeah, it was fucking great.
and it's like 10 hours of like tutorial videos. It's like to make 2 full little games, and so it's a good starting point.
Yeah, that course is really rad. And funny offshoot to that, like I went on because I sort of wanted to see what the game looks like in the completed state, like once you've done all the tutorials. So I looked up, because they call it Cave Boy is the platformer. So I looked that up on YouTube, and I come across like fucking thousands of videos. Some of them like retro games, like reviewers. Some of them like just teenage kids that are making their first game. But so many of them have done the tutorial to the fucking T. Like, it's exactly the same with every game. But they've
sprite or something.
with a different, like, title, like Super Cave Boy or Cave Boy Deluxe Dungeon or blah, blah, blah. And there's, like, literally YouTube, like, retro YouTube, like, review guys that sit there. Oh, so I'm just trying out this Super Cave Boy game. It's a really great little retro game, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this person, like they sold the game to the reviewer, or like they're selling this tutorial game that they made with the sprites and all the fucking assets that they've been given to them, and they're selling it as their own game. It's fucked. I'm like, people are so shamelessly shit.
See, because we followed Yo-Yo Games, who actually created the program Game Maker Studio 2. They had a couple of tutorials up there, and they had this super basic game, Space Rocks or whatever it was, or a little triangle ship they made with just white outline asteroids. You fly around, you shoot them, and they blow up. Right? So I started to do that. Like, I was just following this tutorial. I did a little triangle ship, and I'm like, nah, fuck it, I'm going to put a spin on this. So I did like a Star Wars spin, and I made like a little Millennium Falcon and fucking asteroids. And what did I call the game? Oh, Never Tell Me the Odds. That's what it was called. And then when you win, it says, "Great kid, don't get cocky." And I was like, yes.
Mine was called Shooty Poo.
And it just says, "Shoot the shit" underneath.
Yeah, shoot the shit. Get 1,000 points.
But you could take those tutorials and do your own little spin on them. Like, you can follow it exactly, but I spent like an hour on my little Millennium Falcon. I thought I did a pretty fucking good job.
Well, yeah, you look at, like, you guys played the little demo thing that I put together tonight. Like, obviously I've taken all my animation skills and background and stuff and put it into these sprites and stuff. Mm-hmm. But, like, the game is completely unrecognizable. Like, I could actually probably go, like, it's no game yet. But at the end of this course, when I put together a few levels, I probably could go out and sell this as something of its own, because it's got, like, you know, my own DNA in it. But I was looking at these videos going, the levels are exactly the same, the fucking characters the same, the enemies are the same. I'm like, this is fucked.
You just need to call yours, like, what is it, Gabe Newell? The dude from Steam?
From Valve, yeah.
It's called, like, Gabe Newell Presents. Yeah. Everyone will be searching for Half-Life 3 in it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll just call it Half-Life 3. I'll be like the number one hit on Steam.
Valve have gone the other way with this as well.
Wow. They've got a real
platformer now.
It's real Fairly Odd Parents looking, but I don't mind it. Gordon Freeman's a kid.
They got the outfit color right. It's wearing orange. Mark, do you have a recommendation? Anything you've watched, read, played?
Other than RuPaul's Drag Race?
Other than RuPaul's Drag Race. You can recommend Mudrunner if you want as well.
Then Forged in Fire. All 5 seasons of it. And
oh, yeah. You were telling me about this the other night. Fuck yeah.
The Cosmic Psychos documentary. The fuck's the name of that thing? I think
this is totally uncut while Mark searches for the name of the documentary.
Blokes You Can Trust.
Sure.
Yeah. Documentary about a Melbourne punk rock band from the 80s who are criminally underrated.
They're great. I have not seen that doco. I'm going to fucking check that shit.
It's free
out
on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah.
Just like the Ministry one that I was talking about before. There's another recommendation.
This
Ministry fix.
This doco's got Eddie Vedder reminiscing about when Cosmic Psychos supported Pearl Jam back in the day. and playing the 50-cent game.
Oh,
So,
wow.
like, you get a 50-cent coin,
Yeah.
wedge it between your ass cheeks, duck waddle over to a pint glass sitting on the other side of the room, and then see if you can stand over it and release the 50-cent coin into the glass.
Typical Australian game.
Yep.
Culture!
It's about as cultured as we get here, isn't it?
We could actually also recommend. I went to show Mark the new Jim Jarmusch movie. What was the Dead Don't Die trailer?
Yeah.
New zombie flick with Adam Driver and Bill Murray and that. So I started to punch it into YouTube, and then this band came up called The Dead South,
Oh, yeah.
and their first song come up, and we looked at it, and it had 114 million views. And we're like, what
Oh.
the fuck is this? We better have a look. And we watched it, and they're like a fucking...
Canadian.
They're from Saskatchewan in Canada. They're like a fucking Mumford & Sons style, folksy fucking...
The closest Australian band I could think of that are like them would be Graveyard Train.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're really fucking good. I'm like, this is good. I'm going to follow these guys. I'm going to buy some of their fucking CDs. No wonder they got 114 million views on this one song.
They just need to
Kinda.
sync the fucking video with the audio.
Yeah, because the audio was just like out a little
I
bit with
actually
the
had
video.
a opportunity at one point to do a film clip for Graveyard Train, but I turned it down because I had another job.
Was that other job like some sort of government contract?
Say no more. No, no. I think I was just working on an animated TV series or something at the time. I was
The
just like,
anti-vaxxers.
they were just like they were just after someone that could do a bit of everything, 2D, 3D, and stuff. Because I think they wanted to do like a kind of cool like 3D train thing and stuff.
Yeah, you could see him doing a sweet sort of like New Orleans style.
Yeah.
Like,
Which I was like massively into, and then at the same time I'm like, that film clip's going to take me about 5 years to make. I think I'll just stick with the show that I'm on, because the budget ain't going to be a 5-year budget, I don't think. But yeah, those guys are rad. They're a fucking good band.
any band that has a chain player,
Yeah.
that's
Winner from the...
generally pretty good.
Now, I've only got one bit of news today, which I want to talk about, and it dropped yesterday, night before last. The new trailer for Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix, directed by Todd Phillips. I really fucking liked the trailer. Very restrained. Very much like a character piece. I liked how it was very offbeat in that as well. Like, not essentially what you'd see for like a well, not a big budget, but a famous DC character, not a superhero movie.
All
not
this
really.
kinda like-
the scene where like the guy's there, the guard or whatever, and he looks at him through like the chain link fence, and he's just like, "What?" And he just kind of like setting the tone and that there. I really fucking liked it. I've watched it about 4
It was a
or 5 times.
refreshing fucking trailer, I have to
fuck
say.
yeah.
Because so many of those, they're all almost to the same beat, and they always have that thing at about 3/4 of the way through the trailer where it goes, and then it goes silent, and then
There's
someone's
a
like,
car that crashes.
"Oh no, they're coming." And then it's just like fucking over the top bullshit. Joker didn't feel like that at all watching that trailer. Like, that was very... I had to give my best audio interpretation of a fucking shitty every other trailer.
Just trying to laugh and cough at the same time from it.
It definitely felt like a little $40 million movie, didn't it?
In the really good way.
In the best fucking way.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
looks great. Like, very, I think Scorsese dropped out of producing this because originally he was meant to be producing this film, but then it kind of just went, every time someone brought it up, it was never brought up that Scorsese was producing in that. I think maybe that's what got Robert De Niro involved in that as well. There's a lot of very king of comedy. There's a few scenes in there, like with the curtains in that part, and you've got De Niro on that there. It's very king of comedy. It's fucking great. I dug it. I liked all the voiceover and stuff at the beginning, about his mother, and then where he's at the comedy show and you get a bit of a laugh and that out of him, kind of the forced ha ha ha, kind of pushing that air out kind of laugh. I really liked it.
It feels like it's going to be big in a small way. Like I don't
Yes.
know, like
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain that properly, but
It's
it
a
feels
character
like
movie.
yeah, it feels like there's gonna be a fucking lot that happens, but it's gonna be all to him. Like it's not gonna be the world's ending, or he's gonna, the whole city's fucked, or blah blah blah. It's all like
It all centers around
all
him.
fingers
Everything.
point to him.
I think there was only about 20 seconds of that trailer that was kind of anarchy, and the rest of it was kind of building the empathy for the character.
Yeah.
Which,
If anything, I think the anarchy bit's probably going to be like the last few minutes of the movie, almost like a
which is good.
look what I became kind of deal.
Or maybe just like a little bit of a montage or something like that during the course of the movie, starting to build up some followers or something like that. But I really like the end. I like the voiceover in that at the end. I used to think my life was a tragedy, but now I realize it's a comedy. And then he's fucking dyeing his hair and shit, and all the green fucking dyes running down his face. I'm like, whoa.
And the tone of the music and the stuff all shifts at that point where he says, like, it was a comedy, but, like, everything else, like, in that trailer feels like it's pointing to it's not a comedy. Like, that little moment in the trailer was fucking great. I rarely get excited about trailers, but I was like...
Joaquin Phoenix's fucking method acting for this one was
How thin is he?
methamphetamine.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Weighs about fucking 20 kilograms.
I don't remember the last fucking DC movie where they showed like, Batman walking around the Batcave in his oversized like tidy whities. It fucking But yeah, I digged it. Fucking like he's so thin. Like there's a scene where he's like kind of arching back and his ribs are all sticking out. You're like, fucking hell, method as fuck. I love it.
What was it? Christian Bale in The Machinist?
The Machinist,
Yeah, it's that level.
Yeah,
Like, it's
definitely.
fucking insane.
Yeah, it's insane. I remember Christian Bale saying about because everybody just talks to him about that movie, like, how did you lose so much? How did you lose all that weight? And Christian Bale's like, well, I just when I was hungry, I'd just read a book, and that feeling that I felt, that hunger feeling, I just thought in my head that's like, you're not actually hungry. That just means you want to read. So I read a book instead of eating. I'm like, and then he
headbutted the interviewer.
Yeah. And then he yelled, you're in my fucking line, I'm trying to fucking act over here, you cunt.
I tried that, but I never really want to read a book either.
Just start eating the book.
Go back to pizza again. Fuck.
But no, it looks good. I
just felt like eating a pizza. Reading a pizza.
It's good. I want to watch it real bad.
Yeah, me too.
When did Christian Bale become Vinnie Jones?
Right about the time I saw Snatch.
Do you like dogs?
What you mean open him up?
As if he's a tin of baked fucking beans now, is he?
The scene where he's smashing the dude's fucking head in the car door, and then he answers the phone, he's like, bonjour.
You know what I found out the other day? Brent's never seen Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
What's my fucking
Really?
name? No, I haven't.
Jake, sorry.
I've never seen Lock, Stock. I've only ever seen the end where they wrap up the fucking rifles and they drop them off the bridge and then they're like, and then they're like, and they all run and they got to get spoilers for Lock, Stock. But they got to go down and they try to get the guns back out of the river.
It's
They find out what they're
Snatch, but with guns.
Yeah.
Basically.
Not dogs.
Not
or Brad
dogs.
Pitt.
Yeah.
He's a fucking liability.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't there a Lock, Stock TV series?
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And I fucking used to love that in high school. I don't know if it stands the test of time now. It'd
Probably
be
not.
interesting to watch it again. But I fucking loved it when it came out. I was right into that. There was a character called Miles Bar. I always used to call him fucking Miles Bar. Get in here. Idris Elba, you fucking Miles Bar.
Fucking Idris Elba. I was just talking to Marky the other night about the Hobbs and Shaw trailer, and he's like, I haven't seen it, and I just described it to him, that Idris Elba becoming like a superpowered person and taking on The Rock and Jason Statham, and all he did was giggle.
Well, I mean, what's my Fast and Furious history is the first one.
Which we saw on a school trip.
Yeah. And half of Tokyo Drift. I think I
Yeah.
walked out halfway through.
Yeah, I'm definitely the first one because that was like you couldn't not see the first one. Like it was
yeah.
fucking everywhere, and that came out, and everyone that I knew suddenly went out and bought fucking Nissan fucking Skylines
Yeah.
for the next 10 years.
Because they couldn't afford fucking the cars that had gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. And then I remember watching the second one, and the second one was just heaps of like, yeah, brah, yeah, nah, brah,
Yeah.
brah.
Jumping
We
bridges.
family. It's all about family.
yeah, all about family. And then, yeah, Tokyo Drift came out, and I remember seeing that in the cinema, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this?
I fucking, last I saw, like, I stopped paying attention. Well, I've never really paid attention to it.
No.
But all of a sudden, Fast and the Furious 5 or some shit is out. They're fucking getting chased by submarines and shit.
Oh no, that was the last one. They're driving across a fucking
Wake
frozen
up
lake.
one morning, I'm fucking 34, and there's like 9 Fast and Furious movies now. What the fuck?
When did Fast and the Furious suddenly become the most successful franchise of all time?
When The Rock joined.
Well, it
Ah,
didn't. It
Stole
lived up
Vin
to its
Diesel's
name, didn't it?
people are fucking stupid. People believe that vaccines are bad.
We're back to there already.
and those people like the Fast and the Furious
They
too.
do. They do. That's how you get a free ticket to Fast and the Furious. You fucking deny vaccines. There's just Dwayne Johnson standing out the front of the fucking cinema, handing out tickets. Do you believe in vaccines? No. Have a ticket. Go see my movie.
It's more like
Vin Diesel's over there, like trying to inject it.
it's more like on the vaccination line. There's a little sign on the wall. It's like, if you refuse a vaccine, we'll give you a free ticket to Fast and Furious 7. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I wanted to see that movie. Come on, kids, we're going to the cinema.
Jason Statham standing in the lobby. Have you seen my pecs?
I'm sure if Jason Statham's got kids, he has them vaccinated. Maybe.
So long as he makes the Meg too, I'm happy.
I liked the Meg. As stupid as it was,
Yeah.
I fucking liked it.
Me and Taiwan. Was it? Taiwanese government. I'm pretty sure they input like fucking $500 million or something.
I think like 90% of the budget came from like the Chinese government.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Have not seen it.
It's about a giant shark, right? And then it's
fucking
chasing Jason
megalodon.
Statham, and he's all like, "It's a megalodon."
It's a megalodon. It was a fucking megalodon 5 minutes ago. It was a normal shark 5 minutes ago.
Patrick Brown's just there. Give it all the Oscars.
Jason Statham's up at the podium with the best actor, and he's like, "I really believed in this project. No one thought we could make a giant shark movie Oscar-worthy, but I bloody did it.
Fucking take that, Russell Crowe.
Thank you, Guy Ritchie."
Next
And here's
one's,
Guy Ritchie off making fucking King Arthur, The Legend of the Sword, or whatever, which I actually kind of liked.
next one's going to be like a Megalodon versus Vinnie Jones. Fucking Vinnie Jones will win.
Bring back Bullet Tooth Tony.
Oh, man. I haven't seen him in anything for ages, hey?
He did like, it was fucking like Hardest Jobs or some shit. Like some
Hardest
reality TV
Jobs.
show.
That sounds like a show that he
Yeah.
would totally do.
And it, like he just travelled around the world, like he followed a fucking, it was something stupid, like a coal shoveler in Soviet Russia or some shit. He's like, that's a hard job.
That's pretty fucked, isn't it? I used to play soccer. Football, I should say.
I actually liked Vinnie Jones in The Midnight Meat Train. Did you ever see that?
No, it
It's
sounds like a porno.
It's an adapt.
The real Vinnie Jones. In.
The Midnight Meat Train. You want to try some of my salami?
Let me get my Desert Eagle out.
No, it was an adaptation of like a Clive Barker book.
Oh.
It had like fucking Bradley Cooper in it as well. Before Bradley Cooper was Bradley Cooper.
Before he was the guy in The Hangover.
Before he was the guy in Star Is Born. Whatever it was.
I forgot about that. Movie
How
soundtracks.
could you forget about that? Yeah, movie soundtracks.
Jesus Christ.
What a segue!
4.5 hours into the podcast, we get to the topic.
Fucking anti-vax and everything.
Jesus Christ. So much for an uncut episode.
Oh, it's going to be very uncut.
How's that editing going for you now, Jakes?
Oh, I'm just going to drop the intro in. That's
YouTube
it.
algorithm comes up 8.5 hour fucking podcast.
I've still got half a bottle of Jack Daniels out there to top
6
off.
hours of it's about
Well.
anti-vaxxers and Tony Abbott.
At least we're stocked.
If anybody wants to know how much of a fucking idiot Tony Abbott is, go to YouTube and type in Tony Abbott onion. And watch the former Prime Minister of Australia eat a raw onion.
And if you want to see him, like why I call him a lizard man, you could put in Tony Abbott licking lips. That was fucking hell.
I love the fact that he got ousted like a week or two before he was allowed his politician pension.
Yes. That was just the best fucking justice I've ever seen.
Like, such a shit eater.
Yep. Piece of shit.
Australian politics.
Yeah. That's a fucking flaming dog turd. Fucking, yeah. Movie soundtracks!
How many Prime Ministers have you had in the last 6 years?
Fucking 19 or something.
5.
I've stopped keeping track.
I've stopped voting.
There's a meme
There's no point.
There's a meme that goes around that's like, it's time to change your fucking batteries in your smoke detector, which also means we've got a new PM.
Movie soundtracks. What are we doing today? We're kind of doing like our best, favourite movie soundtracks, also scores as well. And if you hate any movie soundtracks, we'll throw them in as well.
Oh man,
who wants to go first?
That's a list that's way too long if you hate
I'll
them.
start with hate then.
Mark's going to go first.
Suicide Squad.
Oh, great fucking pick for hate.
Yeah.
That is an excellent hate choice.
Fucking like get us all blue-balled. Like the fucking trailers had like the sweet.
The trailer with Queen and that on it.
Yeah, Queen. I think maybe T-Rex was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden the movie comes out and it's like
Fallout
Skrillex anally penetrating Fallout Boy.
Mishmash of fucking the suit up scene and they're just playing fucking Eminem. It's all just out of context and you're like, how does this fit the scene?
And how do you have a movie with Will Smith in it and not have a Will Smith song as the theme song?
Yeah. Why didn't he do like we're long past the days of Wild Wild West.
Oh, Wiki Wawa.
Will Smith doesn't want to do a song that has suicide in the title. No.
Oh.
Edgy.
So, oh god.
Another one that I actually hate that we talked about the other night was the Ghostbusters film from a couple of years ago with Fallout Boy, where they remixed the Ghostbusters track. Who are you going to call?
Ray Parker Jr. Like that.
If he was dead, he'd be rolling around in his grave.
That was an open
Still
goal.
taking in those royalties.
You know what? I think that fucking remix that they did almost ruined the movie before it came out more than anything else.
Oh yeah.
I think like. Because, that movie got so much backlash before it was even released and everyone was writing off, and me included. I was just like, I'm not interested in that. You fucked the Ghostbusters song so bad. But I think most of it was that fucking song. I think that was what the real fucking problem was.
I don't know how you fuck that song up.
No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was perfect. They used it on the fucking animated series, The Real Ghostbusters, for like the 6 or 7 years it was running. Well into the fucking 90s.
Yep.
That's a good intro.
And that, the 80s have come back around. They are deep in fashion right now, and the 90s as well. So fucking just use that music.
And they did Michael Jackson's Beat It. Fucking ages ago. And for as much as there was absolutely no purpose for featuring John Mayer in the fucking title just because he came in, and I think he might have done the solo. Either that or he probably just fucked the Key Grip's wife or something.
He just happened to be in the studio next door recording and he walked past. Like, hey, John, come in.
He just wanted to make sure he was getting his fucking royalties for that.
But they showed that they can actually take a key 80s riff and still kind of keep it in context. I don't know what the fuck that was that they did. Like, that Ghostbusters track was just arse.
It was fucking awful. It was awful.
And I actually watched the movie not long ago and I liked it.
It's not the worst movie. It's not fucking terrible. Like, I watched it and I enjoyed it to a point. Like some of it, like some of the Chris Hemsworth stuff was funny, but some of it was just too far fucking stupid. Like, this is just beyond ridiculous. Like, all this shit he's saying.
Paddy hated Hemsworth in that. He hated it. I didn't mind. I was just like, it's a stupid thing. The thing with that Ghostbusters movie is...
It's uncut, baby.
I think about the original and I think about this new one and I go, okay, so from 30 years from now, am I ever going to pull that movie out and watch it again? Fuck no.
There's a nostalgia bias that those sorts of movies will always come up against, like the moment they're released. Like, can you imagine if... oh, Jesus, fuck. You're probably going to tell me that they're actually doing it now.
Ask me. Tell me.
But can you imagine if they were going to redo Beetlejuice? Like...
I think they are. I think they are.
Don't tell me that.
No, if anything, there would probably be a sequel. I'd hate to see Tim Burton come back to direct it because it'd probably be awful. Because Tim Burton's more of just a fucking caricature of himself from like the 90s. It's too much. It's too over the top in that now. I haven't seen much about Dumbo.
Tim Burton was great when he had the limitation of the film.
When he was out on the Fringe as well.
Yeah, and doing his
and
thing.
When Johnny Depp was out on the Fringe.
And then suddenly, like, you add all the digital world to it and, like, the kind of effects, and he's left to his own craziness. It's like, it's too gone. It's too far. Like, it's so... Yeah, there's kind of like a tangible sort of cool thing about his late 80s, early 90s movie.
Well, could you imagine if he'd done another Beetlejuice and they had the sandworms in like this one and they were like full CG, money well spent, very smooth, and you just go back to the original and you've got those stop motion sandworms and they're just so fucking good. And that's just... It just reeks of that Tim Burton style, you know, because he came from like stop motion background, like Vincent, like the short film he did. I absolutely fucking love that short film. Obviously Nightmare Before Christmas, which he didn't direct, but he wrote the book and everything, and it's got his fingerprints all over it. But,
he was actually a 2D animator for Disney for a while. Yeah. And he did there's a really fucking good short that he did. The dog. What's the dog?
Didn't he work on The Fox and the Hound?
I'm pretty sure he might have done, but he did.
So
he
Helen
did his own
Bonham
short.
Carter's in The Fox and the Hound?
Not yet, because they didn't meet.
Yeah, he did his own short. I don't think it was with Disney, but he did a 2D animated short. I can't remember the name of the fucking thing. It's Dog Eat Dog or something like that. But it's just like this little, 2-minute short or something. But just the animation is fucking brilliant and it's really cool. And they got this like one segment where the dad, I don't think you ever see the parents or the owner of the dog from anywhere but the knee up kind of thing. But they like feed the dog and he like puts the fucking can of dog meat, comes down and he kind of gives it a wiggle and it just animates so beautifully. Like
it's got that wobble, that back of a wobble.
Yeah, and then it just drops into the bowl and the dog's just like really fucking unimpressed by it. It's just really good little short. Like I'll have to look up the fucking name for you.
He did a live action Frankenweenie as well, didn't he? He did like in the 80s. He did like it was like a 40-minute film or something like that. Like and he actually had a dog and dressed it up like a fucking zombie dog and shit. And
then he ended up doing the remake. Well, I guess
it's like the was that actually stop motion, the Frankenweenie one, or was that just like CG fake looking stop motion?
Yeah, that part I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay. Any good songs from those movies?
Yeah. Actually, fuck, this is gonna go on a fucking tangent. Beetlejuice has Henry Belafonte's Banana Boat.
It does.
Deo. And My Plan for My Funeral. I don't know. Have I told you guys about this?
Better write this down, just in case.
Yeah. The plan for the funeral. I'm going to ruin the surprise here.
Do you have a will?
No.
I don't.
But apparently this isn't legal enough to go into a will.
Here we go.
I'm going to try and find out.
Funeral pyre.
Yeah. Normal funeral. Up until about halfway through. And then all of a sudden, like, in the background,
Oh, God.
Like, Banana Boat starts playing. And then, open casket.
Your wired corpse comes
out. Like the hand flicks up out of the coffin and starts dancing around.
And you go full Winona Ryder and you start floating up into the air.
Full series of pulleys whipped me up into the back of the church, like
Fucking hell.
dancing around, completely unsuspecting for all the people in attendance of the funeral.
And we have to film it and put it on the internet, and that shit will go viral.
Ah, you could film it if you want. Like, fucking, yeah, Tim Burton would just be down the back just whacking it.
I can see the name of it, like Ghost of Anti-Vaxxer. Possesses his body of recently deceased Kurt Cobain lookalike.
Coffin angle proves that Earth is flat.
He touched the top of the dome.
What else you got? Batman. Batman had...
89 Batman?
Yeah, that had Prince Bat Dance.
It did.
Yeah.
That song got some shit in Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
The soundtrack got some shit in Shaun of the Dead.
That
Throw
is,
it.
that is a terrible good song. Like, was it Batman Returns?
Are we talking about Batman Forever with Seal, Kissed by a Rose?
No, I can't remember. Because I think it was the original Batman, but Prince was in the film clip wearing a purple suit, and he had the Two-Face makeup on. Like, one side had the Joker white, and the other side was just like Prince.
Yep.
And the song goes for something ridiculous, like fucking 12 minutes. I've got the fucking 7-inch vinyl at home. Prized possession.
Fuck.
Can we go off a tangent off that as well and talk about fantastic soundtrack, Purple Rain?
Probably one of the best soundtracks.
Probably top 10.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, for anyone who, I guess, hasn't seen Purple Rain, the soundtrack it's pretty much the driving force of the movie. Like, all the songs are themed around the scenes of the movie. It's almost like, it's basically a musical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Purple Rain itself, fucking amazing song. Like, the solo of that just fucking punches you in the chest so hard when it comes up. When Doves Cry, that's on there. The fucking opening track. Opening track is... I'm gonna have to fucking look at that. I can't remember. Let's get... Uncut!
It is uncut. Absolutely, Purple Rain. I totally agree. Yeah, it's funny you say that because we've talked about this before, how a lot of films that have very successful soundtracks...
Let's Go Crazy.
Let's Go Crazy. That's
Yes.
fucking it, yeah. The songs are actually incorporated into the film, not just as like they're on the credits or whatever, but they're actually built into the narrative of the film. Like another, just to go on a tangent off that, another very successful soundtrack of the last few years, the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, for example.
Yeah.
And then the bastardized of that, Suicide Squad, which you can see why that didn't work very well.
Yeah.
Trying to take that kind of formula.
Yeah, don't tease
That
us
was
with
a-
Ballroom Blitz and then take it away.
Yeah. But now that James Gunn's coming in to direct The Suicide Squad, I'm sure that'll have a bitchin' soundtrack.
Do you know, actually, this is going on another tangent. Do you know who did the opening theme tune to Rocko's Modern Life?
I'm going to guess it's Primus.
B-52s.
Oh!
How's that?
Fuck.
Do you
That
remember
makes
that?
sense.
Yeah.
I
Rocko's Modern Life.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
I watched I think I listened to an interview with Joe Murray about when they were trying to get the song for Rocko's Modern Life. And it was right in the big heyday of the B-52s, you know, Love Shack kind of era and stuff.
Yeah.
And what's the singer's name? I can't remember. Anyway, so he blows up. He's massively famous for doing, you know, Rock Lobster and
God, that's such a good
Love
song.
Shack and and so these guys, you know, Joe Murray's like, this is perfect for my cartoon. I want the B-52s to do some fucking over the top crazy shit so I can animate to it. And they get the B-52s in to record the song. And he's having a fucking midlife crisis and like hates all his current music and wants to like record a song that's more serious and more like, you know, not, hey, I'm in a giant clam. Whoa! So he starts like laying down these tracks that are all somber and serious and shit. And he's
like fucking Tom
"Dude,
Waits blues.
He's like, this is a fucking cartoon, man. Like, I need you to. Can we just do that stuff, please?
He's a happy-go-lucky wallaby. He's not having an existential crisis.
Well, he is, but I mean, you kind of have to make it fun. So, yeah. I think like in the end, he kind of like begrudgingly did this Rocko's Modern Life thing. But
All right, I'll take your
he was,
money.
I think he was like hating it. Like,
Yeah.
I think he hated doing it. Yeah.
This is all I'm known for.
I'm gonna be that guy. Ah!
To go on with another very big tangent, great video game soundtrack, The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. I just love that Gwent track when you're playing Gwent, you know? Or when you get to Skellige and you're on the Skellige Isles. And
I just love the ladies like always going.
It's all very Polish.
What's the girlfriend game reviews did a really great little joke on that. Like she does that voice really well.
She does. Yeah.
And she did a little segment on just the Witcher game music and how fucking great it is.
As soon as you talk video game music, like my mind goes straight to Rock and Roll Racing.
Oh, fuck.
Which had Black Sabbath Paranoid as like a fucking 8-bit soundtrack during the menu.
Wow.
Like way back then. You're just like, oh, it's Black Sabbath.
It'd just be like this humming fucking MIDI track.
Little did I know that many years later I could have that as a ringtone on my Nokia 3315.
Yeah.
That's a fucking good game. I'm going to throw out just like, not a fantastic soundtrack, but one that just fits like the tone of a movie very well. Last Action Hero. Absolutely. And you got the fucking you got the insane fucking Akadaka on there.
Yeah.
Big gun.
That was all like Americanized balls to the wall rock music.
Yeah, it was fucking sick.
I think Guns N' Roses were on there. I think they had a track on there.
Guns N' Roses had the track of Terminator 2, You Will Be Mine.
Yep.
Yep, that was fucking great. Great clip on that too. I remember when we were playing GTA and I had a playing in the background. It was like the Terminator 2 fucking styled mission. You drove, and I was like, just put this on. And it had blaring in the background through the headsets while we were playing. That's great. Bob, throw me a movie soundtrack you love.
All right. One that I've fucking loved forever is The Crow. The Crow
Great
soundtrack.
Yeah.
Fucking love that. Just like, I mean, The Crow.
Essentially 90s.
Yeah.
Nine Inch Nails.
It was kind of like my gateway into that kind of darker, grungy
Soundtrack
stuff.
basically comes with a free Big Day Out ticket.
Yeah, from like 96 or something. But yeah, like, you know, opens with the Cure track. Still like such a fucking good song. What's that fucking? Everybody has, everybody. Terrible.
How's it go?
Yeah, that. But then my favorite one, my favorite track on there is actually the 9 Inch Nails, who are covering Joy Division with Dead Souls. That fucking track.
Oh, yes.
That is such a good song. I love the shit out of that.
Fucking great movie.
Yeah. But it's like such a fucking awesome mix, you know, Violent Femmes and Rage.
Burn.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, Burn. That's it. By The Cure. Yeah, fucking.
They
So
don't
many
fucking
good
do soundtracks like that anymore. Like you think of the last few years and like the most successful like film soundtracks, you know, that aren't scores, you know, that are actual tracks and that.
Yeah.
The ones I can think of, obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Black Panther was very popular
Yep.
last year, and I thought the you haven't seen it yet, Bob, but the Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack was fucking bitchin'.
I haven't looked at the soundtrack for that, but listening
They
to
pretty
the
much play
tracks-
all the songs in the movie.
Do they?
Yeah.
Because that had, like, Notorious... I think it had Juicy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah.
Mm.
Uncut. Uncut. This is like the Joe Rogan show. It's going to go for 4 hours. Where's Alex Jones?
There's a lot of those 90s movies soundtracks that were fucking great back in the day. Like
I like the Spawn soundtrack.
Yeah, Spawn, fucking great. Mortal Kombat.
Oh, Mortal
Kombat was really, I think that was my real gateway into industrial music.
The only thing that the Mortal Kombat soundtrack was missing was like Darude Sandstorm.
Oh man, yeah, I fucking loved the Mortal Kombat soundtrack. Yeah. I was a massive industrial nerd when I was growing up in high school.
Well, there was a stage there where a lot of soundtracks had like that KMFDM style industrial sound to them.
KMFDM were like my favorite band in high school, and it was basically came from that soundtrack. And I think my gateway into it was this dude that moved from Canberra to our school, and he had an older brother who was like full-blown goth, fucking proper goth. And apparently he worked on like Farscape as a ship animator or something or whatever. So I never met this guy's older brother.
Forgot that Farscape even existed.
Yeah. It was like, that fucking like
people out there remember Farscape.
Yeah,
because it was Aussie made, I think, or partly Aussie made.
Yeah, it was all shot in Australia, and that it was like partially funded by Australia, I think, but I think it had some American funding as well.
So this dude's older brother, who was like in his early 20s or something, he was like full-blown goth. He looked like, I don't know, just fucking...
He would have been such a fucking Morrissey fan.
He would have been.
I'm shaking my head.
Was he just like Robert Smith on meth or something like
that?
Well,
I never met him because I think he was up like in Sydney or wherever working on Farscape at the time. But this younger kid had moved to Tassie, and he was telling me all about it. And like, so I was the eldest child in my like siblings, so I never had like an older brother or anyone to like tell me what's good in music. I had to fucking figure it out myself. So this guy came along and he like opened the door to like Ministry, KMFDM, Kevin Smith movies, fucking like all this shit in a really short time. Then he moved away again in like a year. So I just like took his like little chunk of knowledge, and it just transformed me completely into like, I mean, I still walk around in fucking Ministry t-shirts now and shit, like that little one short interaction with that kid back in my teens is shaped completely my musical tastes. And
opened little Bobby's eyes.
It did. I didn't know what the fuck Clerks were or Mallrats or like any of that stuff, and just heaps of random little fucking shit like that. And it's like he had the lucky chance to have an older brother that was into all that. It was kind of like he was a goth, but he was pre-Matrix goth. So.
Yeah. I like how goths are measured by like pre-Wachowski brothers or post-Wachowski brothers.
Exactly. Because
they're just the Wachowski.
Fucking hell, the goths really changed after the Matrix. I feel like
there's a lot more BDSM that was brought in the Matrix.
I'm exactly that too. Like, I had that same experience, but I wasn't a friend. It was this guy. This guy right here. Well, it wasn't a friend. He called him a friend. But Mark was that guy. He was always like we would hang out and stuff, and he would tell me about shit. But it was like all this obscure stuff that was kind of on the fringe. Then I'm like, what's this? What's all this you talking about?
So you got an older brother, don't you?
I do, but
cheat.
he gave me he gave me the perfect opening door.
That's all you need when you're a teenager, though, isn't it? It's just like that one little like hint through a door that you didn't know was open, and then you're like, oh fuck, there's this whole world of like subgenre shit happening back there.
That's it. Like you find your one band, and then find the bands that influenced them. Then find the bands that influenced them, and then all of a sudden you're starting to build your musical tree. and it goes deep very quickly.
Mm.
Like, there aren't that many.
Well, much
fucking-
slower back then because you didn't have YouTube and shit. So
Yeah.
it went
You
as
had to
deep
read-
as Audio Galaxy and like Napster would allow it to go.
And reading magazine interviews.
Yeah,
Reading
Kerrang.
the fucking liner notes on the album sleeve.
Yeah, yeah. Special thanks to this person. You're like, oh, who are they? I'll
Yeah.
look them up. Oh, they're no one.
I must have been like the only 12-year-old who knew who Mutt Lang was. Looking for Rick Rubin's next album.
I was a big fan of the Resident Evil soundtrack, obviously.
Yeah,
Fucking
was that
sick.
the one that had My Plague on it, or was that
Yes.
Resident Evil? Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yes, it absolutely was.
And I still don't know the difference, but apparently there's a Resident Evil mix of that fucking... When I used to work for the music video company, we got the Resident Evil mix of My Plague in, and I don't know what the difference was. I listened to both. They sounded exactly the same. So,
You have to ask Corey Taylor.
yeah, he's probably just wearing his pants off for one of them.
I'm gonna go back further to the 1980s because fucking like movie soundtracks really like flourished in that.
Power of Love.
Power of Love. I was gonna get to it, but like I haven't really spoken about scores or anything. But like we're not really talking about. We're cherry picking film scores. Fucking Back to the Future. The Back to the Future soundtrack. When you just hear that, you know, the diddle diddle diddle, you know, and it just starts, and then it's, and then it builds, and then you've got the dun 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 dun, and then obviously Huey Lewis and the News, Power of Love, all those other tracks in that, like fucking
Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry. So many fucking scores in that out there, which like sit like in my mind, that I love. I'm just gonna rattle off a few scores. 2001, Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
I do have that soundtrack on vinyl. I Snapchatted it once to someone at work, and they're like, "What are you listening to, you old man?" And I'm like, "Bloody Stanley Kubrick film, 2001, Space Odyssey."
It's got
soundtrack."
monkeys
I wasn't
in
even
it.
born in 2001.
You
There's
bastard.
monkeys
Fucking
and
are,
they
old
find
men.
a stick.
I particularly love the Conan the Barbarian soundtrack, the score especially. I like the main theme. I love the intro with Marco and that, and he's doing the narration and that, and he's like, "My master Conan," you know, and he's talking through about, you know, when the oceans drank Atlantis, and he's like, "These were the days of high adventure," and then it just takes off. It's like bum 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 bum.
It's so funny. It's so funny because fucking I can't remember for the life of me what the score was, but I knew you were gonna go bum 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 bum. I fucking knew it had. I knew it had some bump bumps.
And then as soon as the bump 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 bump,
It's fucking great. I really love that theme. And there's a later on. What's his fucking name? The bad guy in the movie. Fucking James Earl Jones.
Bonin.
The theme he has, the scene where he transforms into the serpent or whatever, and there's his fucking theme that plays, which is stellar. I can't remember what he's.
I've just realised I remember fuck all of that movie, apparently.
What's his
Yeah.
fucking name?
The only bit I remember is Schwarzenegger pushing the thing, the grain mill thing
And it gets
around in a
swole.
circle over and over. That's
It's just a
all I
big
remember.
montage, yeah.
And I think there was like a sexy vampire scene or something. Or
There was. She was like a sorceress, and then they do the nasty, and then he throws her into the fire, and she burns alive.
That's it.
And he's like, "Crom."
Such a Schwarzenegger thing to do.
Throw this winch into the fire.
What else have I got here? Obviously, you can't like not talk about film soundtracks and scores without talking about John Williams. Obviously, Star Wars, anything Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, if you want. I'm not a Harry Potter guy, but people like Harry Potter, Jurassic Park, the Jurassic Park theme, Jurassic Park soundtrack.
The best one. Oh man.
Are you going to talk about
No
that
Man's-
YouTube video?
Yeah, No Man's Sky with the fucking with the bad recorder. Beautiful opening intro, and then
The peak of the internet.
yeah. Oh man.
Shut it down.
Anything by Ennio Morricone, so like the Dolls
Yeah.
trilogy. He even did like the samples and tracks and that for the Thing soundtrack, my favorite movie of all time, which Quentin Tarantino used in The Hateful Eight, which he then won an Oscar for. So I'm like, is The Thing actually an Oscar-winning film now? We talked about this on that episode. I say it is. But yeah, anything by Ennio Morricone, just the fucking Dollars trilogy and that. You know.
See, when it comes to scores, like...
So he used
Danny...
the Thing score in The Hateful Eight, or...
He did. Ennio Morricone wrote some tracks for The Thing, some of which they did use. There was one or two that they didn't. There was one in particular, the one they used, I don't know if it's a fucking cello or whatever, the dun-dun-dun-dun-dum, dun-dun-dun-dun-dum, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, you know, that
the
one.
main tension piece.
Yeah, the main tension piece. Yeah. Anyway, that was on, like, the Blu-ray menu for, like, the Australian release and that, and, like, when you left it going, it's just but then they just took that track and he just dropped it straight into The Hateful Eight. So he'd written that track, like, fucking 30 years earlier, for The Thing, which they'd never actually used in the film. But, yeah, that was originally a piece of music written for The Thing, which they didn't end up using. It was on the soundtrack, and it ended up on the Blu-ray fucking DVD menu, but it never actually made it into the finished film.
Wow. That's interesting, yeah.
But there were plenty of other tracks in that that they used in that. I think Carpenter only wrote one track for that, the kind of the heartbeat, you know, the bomb, 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 you know. Boom, boom, you know, kind of that tension piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of my favourite parts of this podcast is going to be you trying to impersonate all the sounds.
Yeah, that's what I do, baby. I come prepared. Like
me
I guess...
trying to sing The Cure. Fucking hell. Sorry, Robert.
Robert Smith's just crying all these fucking eyeliner and shit.
With scores, like, I think I was always more of a Danny Elfman fan.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. It was always
Batman 89.
Yeah. Batman 89.
Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah. Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes.
Like, everything in Nightmare Before Christmas was
This is
fucking
Halloween.
perfect.
This is Halloween. I've got that vinyl out there. Fantastic fucking soundtrack.
Yeah. I can't think of the fucking name of this main song from Edward Scissorhands. I think it was the one that he won an Oscar for. I'm pretty sure he won an Oscar for that movie.
Probably. How many Oscars has that guy got?
Oh, man. He's using Oscars to, like, hold down bread bags.
It's just a paperweight now. I have so many. I've got a few other soundtracks written down.
Randy Newman.
Toy Story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Randy Newman or Danny Elfman Oscar goes to
Dirty Dancing. Great movie, great soundtrack. Fuck what you say. I think it's great. Soundtracks were very successful in the 80s. Like Dirty Dancing, Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Fucking great soundtrack.
They were a big marketing technique.
Absolutely. And were they all just fucking John Hughes movies I just rattled off?
Yeah, I think so.
Except for Dirty Dancing, obviously. What else have I got written down?
The World's End was a soundtrack that I fucking really appreciated.
What was on that one?
That was, so...
I mean, it was
Sean,
right, so it must
Sean
be
Pegg...
okay.
it's not Sean Pegg.
Sean Pegg and Simon Penn.
Simon Pegg's character, all the way through the movie, was wearing a Sisters of Mercy t-shirt, because he was like an 80s, 90s goth. And me being a fucking, fan of all that music, Sisters of Mercy, like, they used a lot of Sisters of Mercy stuff in there. Like, at the end scene where, like, all the lights turn on and they've got all the fucking, they're in that big fucking spire at the end and they're all, lit up. Like, that's a Sisters of Mercy track that plays there. And
Sisters of Murphy.
Sisters of Furfies.
It's the Launceston cover band. Sisters of Mercy.
Sisters of Furfies. Sisters of Murphy.
Opening for Boot Sushi.
Yeah.
Boot Sushi. We should probably fill people in on all boot sushi.
We bought sushi
this is going in a strange place.
before we came here. We stopped at a local sushi joint and we all got sushi. And then when we got back to the car, I opened the boot and put my sushi in the boot. in the trunk of the car, in the boot of the car. And then these guys made fun of me, and they sound like Boot Sushi. Sounds like a Japanese band.
Punk rock band.
So trademark that, Boot Sushi. That belongs to us, bitch.
Supporting the 5, 6, 7, 8s.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Sisters of Furfies.
Boot Sushi definitely sounds like a band that'd be in a Tarantino movie.
Speaking of Tarantino, you can't talk about film soundtracks without just talking old Tarantino, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction.
You can't really pick
Jackie Brown.
a movie, can you? It's like
Kill Bill.
all of them. He's got impeccable taste, and he's got the ability to change your influence on music. You know, things that you didn't know you liked, and then you see a Tarantino movie, and then suddenly you fucking like that those bands. Like,
Kill Bill. I think Kill Bill was probably the weakest of all of them, but that did still have. Well, it had the 5, 6, 7, 8s, and it had a track featuring RZA from Wu-Tang.
Yeah, that's right, because he's a massive kung fu nut.
Yeah,
kung fu fan. His last few films, obviously, because they'd be more period pieces, Inglourious Bastards and Hateful Eight, except for maybe Django Unchained a little bit, that had more score elements and that to it.
I think Django might have had a Black Keys track in it.
I think that was one of the last tracks on the actual album. But I'm interested to see what Once Upon a Time in Hollywood will bring, late 50s, early 60s set movie, mid 60s. It'd be interesting to see what kind of soundtrack we get out of that.
Man, you could put that California sound at that sort of time. That was very shiny, very beach sun pop, like that sort of Beach Boys sound. You could put that to a Demented movie so well. It would just be that twisted, juxtaposed soundtrack over the top.
Manson was like friends with the Beach Boys and shit. You know, like they jammed together and shit. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to that one.
Be interesting to see what we get out of that. One of my main tracks, if I ever go to a pub with a jukebox, one track I always play is Jungle Boogie from Pulp Fiction. That's always you put your fucking $3 or $4 in, you get to pick 3 songs. One of those 3 will always be Jungle Boogie and probably Sad But True by Metallica. and a bit of Sabbath.
Wasn't Jungle Boogie in a Rob Zombie film as well?
Fuck, I don't know that actually.
Where it was in a Rob Zombie movie.
Oh, underrated score for a film, Lords of Salem. I still think it's Rob Zombie's best movie. He agrees with me.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one. That's what, like 3 or 4 years old?
Yeah.
Maybe
Probably
more?
a bit longer, probably 5, 6, maybe more.
I don't think I've seen any of his last maybe like 4 movies or something.
I haven't seen. I've seen everything except for 31, which was his last movie, and he had a job to get that made as well.
Yeah.
But, 3 from Hell looks interesting. See how that goes. But that rain's finally come. They've been talking about it all day. Listen to it. The rains are here. Somebody's eating corn on the roof.
Speaking of uncut episodes, I'm going to do a fucking Patrick Brown on you and
go and do a wee.
Have a wee.
A wee. Such a dad response. I'm going to throw out I'm not going to piss on your parade here, Mark, but I'm just going to throw out 1 or 2. He's the one doing the piss. Go. Remember to wash your hands and flush the toilet.
Hey, no, Patrick Brown.
Bobby's very hygienic. I'll have you know. I was a big fan. 10 years ago, I watched Into the Wild, and I became a very big fan of the soundtrack from a lot of fucking tracks from Eddie Vedder on there.
Yeah.
And it's just another fucking soundtrack that's built for a film. You know, all these custom songs and that written for this film, and just fit the tone and kind of the slowed down but grand sort of scale of the open world. You know, kind of Chris McCandless is fucking going out to discover and kind of find his mark and make his mark and you know, just kind of walk the earth essentially. Yeah, it's the great fucking accompanying songs.
Yeah, you end up. That was basically there's 3 main types of sort of artists who provide soundtracks. And the first one is when a studio comes to an artist and just buys a track. Just off the shelf sort of thing.
Not from Michael Jackson because they're too expensive.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone's going to be buying his tracks are now shelved with R. Kelly's. Which we'll get to Space Jam.
I'm gonna piss on you.
The second is when they come to an artist and they've got a B-side or something which is just sitting there, and the artist will provide that for the soundtrack, which happened a lot with Trent Reznor and 9 Inch Nails.
Yep.
And the third is when the artist actually contributes and actually sits down and watches the movie, enhances the movie through...
Creates content for that film.
Into the Wild was one of those movies. Like, I think Hard Sun was a cover.
Big
maybe?
Hard Sun.
Yeah.
Track 5, I think it was on there.
Yeah. But I'm fairly from memory, I think most of them were just written by E. Vedder.
Yep.
Another good one would be Nick Cave and Warren Ellis.
Ooh,
They
fuck yeah.
did The Proposition.
Fucking great movie. Have you seen The Proposition, Bob?
Only like a quarter of it.
Oh, yeah. Fucking great movie, man.
Yeah, we were midway through it, and then a party kicked off, I think. I was in my early 20s.
There was the assassination of Jesse James,
By the coward Robert Ford, yeah.
Nick actually did... There was a documentary, I think it was Discovery
Nick wrote The
Channel.
Proposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was a documentary by the Discovery Channel or National Geographic, one of them, and it was about journeying to Mars. I think it was called like Journey to the Red Sun or something. And it had like a whole heap of Elon Musk. He was featured in it a lot.
Really?
South African autism. But yeah, he wrote the score for that. Like, basically...
That sounds familiar. Yeah, that does sound familiar.
Yeah. Both Nick Cave and Warren Ellis are those types of artists who will sit down, watch the content that they're trying to create for, and then make an accompanying piece.
Craft something.
Yeah.
Fit
And there's actually a whole heap of... If you're interested in a Brisbane band, there's a Brisbane band called The Hazards of Swimming Naked with a very talented drummer called Rick Windhorse Anslin, and that band tend to do a lot of live film scores. Like, I think the last one from memory they might have done was Nosferatu.
Wow.
And it's usually set up by some sort of local arts group. They'll play the movie, the band comes in, and they have a few weeks to prep, and they'll write tracks to accompany the movie as a score. So it's kind of starting to become a little bit more popular, I guess, compared to just grabbing a Rihanna song and dumping it in there and expecting Michael Bay to wank all over it.
Yeah. Like Trent Reznor's writing a lot of stuff for like the last probably fucking 10 years. He's done like a lot of Fincher films, like David Fincher films. I know he did a lot of stuff for Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
He did the Quake 1 soundtrack, the video game.
Oh, fuck.
That's a deep cut.
I used to listen to the shit out of
Is that the one that 9 Inch Nails were on?
9 Inch Nails was like you could actually have the nail gun, and there was ammo that was 9 Inch Nails in Quake 1. Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah. I used to listen to it, like, because back in the day, you have the game disc, the CD-ROM, and you put it in and play it. But you could skip in a CD player past track 1, which was the data thing, and then it'd just actually play the track, like the music tracks from the game from 2 to 10 or whatever. So I used to just like get around in the car with my fucking Quake disc in the CD player.
Well, actually, speaking of David Fincher, the poster behind you, Fight Club.
Oh, yeah.
There's a track at the end of that movie, and I wish I could remember the guy's name because I watch it on YouTube a lot. But it's a piano acoustic rendition of the Pixies' Where Is My Mind?
Mm-hmm.
And it is so stripped back and so minimalistic that it is absolutely perfect. It's the scene where Ed and Helen Bonham Carter are watching the building come down.
All the credit card companies exploding. He's like,
Yeah.
you met me a very weird time in my life.
Yeah. There's a lovely little piano track that comes over the top of it.
Where is my mind?
And I'm pretty sure it's an Italian guy playing the cover of the Pixies.
Fuck, that rain's heavy. I don't know if you guys can hear that rain, but yeah, she's coming down.
Oh man, a recent movie that did, and bringing it back to Nine Inch Nails, kind of, Logan with fucking Hurt by Nine Inch Nails.
Oh yeah,
covered
fuck,
by Johnny
yeah.
Cash.
Yeah.
That track at the end of the movie was perfect. That was fucking.
And on the trailer as well. They had it on the trailer. I think it was the first trailer they put out. It's actually funny you mentioned about like getting an artist to come in and be actually involved in the process of creating something for the film. There's someone I like quite a bit the last few years is Cliff Martinez, and especially like the Drive soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. That's
he also-
the synthwave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one. Fantastic soundtrack. One of my favorite soundtracks to listen to kind of the last
I
decade.
swear that's what got Paddy into his whole synthwave.
No, that
thing.
was me. I was like, hey, check out Perturbator, and then he did, and then so you can blame me for that.
Okay. Paddy hasn't gone back to listening to normal instruments synth. It's all just like ding digga ding digga ding digga.
Just wants everything to have a keytar.
Yeah.
One movie I actually introduced to you not that long ago. We had a movie night at your place, and I put on The Guest. Kind of fucking Terminator Cross, Born Supremacy. Fantastic soundtrack on that. That is another big like synth heavy fucking track. But there's this fantastic scene where he walks into a diner with a pair of hand grenades. And fucking Because I Love You's playing on the jukebox in the background, and then they just fucking, it's playing in the background like while the scene's playing, and then you see him walk out, and he comes back in, and then the music just rises, and then it fucking kicks off, and it's just because I know I'll be right by your side, and it just goes like that. Oh brother, where art thou soundtrack?
Soggy Bottom Boys.
Soggy Bottom Boys.
That's a great fucking movie.
That was an
Seeing as
amazing
we're
song.
talking about the Coen brothers, we can't talk about film soundtracks without talking about the Big Lebowski.
Of course. Of course.
This is the fucking money, Lebowski.
I was trying really hard not to mention it because I fucking bring it up every time.
Essentially, Bob's favorite film of all time, The
pretty
Big
much,
Lebowski. If he had to have one, it'd be The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Fantastic soundtrack. Coen brothers actually do have great fucking soundtracks. I really like the No Country for Old Men soundtrack. The score on that fucking dark.
No Country for Old Men doesn't have nothing.
It does have a soundtrack, yeah.
It does.
Yeah, there are very minimalist tracks in that on there, but
okay.
yeah.
A lot of strings.
Yeah.
What else?
I was going to say that as a joke because there's literally like no music in that movie.
Scorpion King soundtrack.
Scorpion, terrible movie, brilliant soundtrack for the time.
Fucking Godsmack.
that's
comes
it.
straight out of the
I was going
gate.
to say Disturbed. Same shit.
Yeah.
It's essentially the same shit.
It's all the new metal stuff of the time, which I fucking loved. I had that CD. I played the shit out of
That's
it.
it.
I think
I
I still
stand
have that
alone.
CD. Yeah.
I stand alone inside.
There you go. A good alternative to that soundtrack is Queen of the Damned.
Oh man,
Oh,
I
yeah,
took the
fuck
words
yes.
straight out of my
Yeah.
mouth. And you know, fucking Jonathan Davies wrote all the songs for that.
Yeah, and then
he
his
got
record company
fucked.
wouldn't let him. No, he was contracted because the soundtrack was released by Sony, and whoever Korn was signed by, I can't
Warner
remember.
or someone
Yeah,
like
it was
that,
either
yeah.
Warner or Universal. They wouldn't let him record the tracks, if my memory serves right.
Yeah,
He could do the tracks for the film. So when you watch the
Yeah.
film, it's all fucking Jonathan Davies and that. He sings all the tracks and that during the film. But if you actually chuck the soundtrack in your CD player and you listen to it, it's not Jonathan Davies because
No.
they wouldn't allow him to do it. So he
Yeah.
pretty much just brought in all these muso mates to fucking
you got to.
do all those tracks.
I got to be honest though, like it made for a much better soundtrack.
Oh,
like
it- yeah.
having a mix of those artists. You know, you had
Yeah.
like Chester from Linkin Park and fucking
Marilyn
Disturbed
Manson.
and Marilyn
Static X.
Manson and
There's
Static
a Static
X.
X
was
on
in
there as
there.
well,
Wayne
yeah.
Static was in there. Just having like that sort of diversity. I mean, diversity. They're all new metal bands at the time, but it was like different voices for every track. Because when you watch the movie and you hear him sing those songs, It feels really weird to me now, like to hear his voice on those songs. It just feels like, I don't know, like you could, like it's weird because like he wrote them for his voice and his thing, but they sound wrong. Like, you know, the other artists actually took it. I think they changed them slightly in a way that like suited them and probably made the soundtrack more diverse and interesting.
The soundtrack's fucking great, but if you say Anne Rice novel movie adaptation with a new metal soundtrack today, you'd just be like, burn that shit.
Yeah, no, thank you. And actually, I mean, like I watched it a few years ago. I mean, it was quite a few years ago now, but I watched it again far after the new metal thing had left, and it just feels like a massive advertisement for metal music.
Yeah.
And not really a well put together movie.
It's just edgecore.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Davies has a cameo in the movie as well. He's trying to sell tickets to the festival out in fucking Death Valley or whatever it is on the side of the street.
Fucking scalper, and he's like his own worst enemy. Jesus.
One soundtrack I liked from the last probably decade or whatever, Daft Punk on the Tron Legacy soundtrack. Great soundtrack that fits a film in another way, getting an artist to come in and particularly craft tracks for the film. One soundtrack that I actually still listen to this day, I have the CD in my car, is the Bladerunner soundtrack by Vangelis. I love those tracks. Except for Rachel's song, it's so dour. And it's just like, and it's just like, forced romance, very rapey scene in the movie. Harrison Ford forces himself on a young android woman. And there's just like no chemistry between them whatsoever.
Yeah, that scene doesn't go down well today, does it?
And the Blade Runner 2049 soundtrack is also great. Great fucking movie.
I've not listened to the 2049 soundtrack, but I remember being really struck by it when I had to watch the movie.
I feel
it's something I should actually give a listen.
I just felt like overwhelmed. I felt like it was almost too much, the 2049 soundtrack. I wanted to like it, but it was almost like, I don't know if it was just the cinema I was in played it really fucking loud, but it was just like
very overbearing.
It was just almost too much. Like
there was a lot of like 6-minute builds and things like that. I remember.
I remember loving the movie, but I just remember the actual soundscapes and stuff were just, especially towards where the waves are crashing at the fucking shore, where they've crashed the two cars and they're fighting and the thing. Like, that was almost like, you can understand why they built it to such a level because it was such a big, tense fight scene. But at the same time, it was almost like fucking take it down a couple levels, guys. like my head's gonna explode if you keep this frequency up. Like,
fucking Inception soundtrack.
How much has that become the fucking stereotypical trailer sound now?
Wouldn't you love to add that movie to this list? Because really, like, at the time, it was brilliant. It was great. And the way that they cut that trailer to that soundtrack was perfect. And then
Transformers
everybody
and DC
did
fucked it.
Yeah. Every single trailer for the next fucking 15 years did it. And still are doing it. They're still doing it.
It's Bruce Wayne waking up. He's eating cereal. Scratching his ass.
Wait, nothing's happening.
Alright, I'm gonna wrap up
something
this
is
show.
happening.
I'm going to wrap up this show by telling you guys the 15 best-selling movie soundtracks of all time.
Ooh, here we go.
Number 15, The Song Remains the Same from Led Zeppelin, 1976, 4 million copies. Number 14, A Star is Born, 1976, 4 million copies.
That's the original.
Number 13, High School Musical, 2006, 4 million copies. Number 12, Frozen, 2013, 4 million copies. Number 11, The Big Chill, 1983, 6 million copies. Number 10, Flashdance, 1983, 6 million. Number 9, Space Jam, 1996, 6 million.
I believe I can fly.
Number 8, Waiting to Exhale, 1995, 7 million. Number 7, Grease, 1978, 8 million copies. Number 6, Titanic, 1997, 11 million copies. Number 5, Dirty Dancing, 1987, 11 million copies. Number 4, Forrest Gump, 1994, 12 million copies. Number 3, Purple Rain, 1984, 12 million copies. 13 million copies, beg your pardon. Number 2, Saturday Night Fever, 1977, 15 million. And number 1,
The Crow.
the best-selling soundtrack of all time was The Bodyguard, 1992.
Bodyguard.
17 million copies. But it's that same thing. Songs crafted for a film.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And that was like peak Whitney. Bobby was fucking popular at that stage, even though like I'm fairly sure it was in like a budding romance. That movie was fucking everywhere. Was Kevin Costner was in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
This was just coming off Dances with Wolves, I think.
that was like a bullshit storm of mediocrity.
Yeah.
But fuck did it sell.
People love Whitney. She's on there. I mean, Waiting to Exhale and that. She's got a couple of spots on that top 15 list.
Yeah, people loved Whitney.
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap it up right there because this episode's gone on too long and this is about to end. Thanks, boys. Thanks
What
for
did we
coming.
clock in at this week?
140.
Oh, not
Yeah.
too bad. I thought you were going to say 3:45.
I'm going to wrap it up before it automatically cuts off because this is like about to run out of room.
Oh, shit.
Apologize for the episode being 40 minutes of just wankery. and then
Anti-vax! Tony Abbott!
1 hour.
Fallout Boy!
I'd love it
tangents.
if it just ended right there. Anti-vax.
I'm going to wrap it up. Mark, thank you
No
for coming in and
worries.
bringing your muser expertise. Bob, thanks for being here. You're always welcome. You're a
No
pleasure.
worries.
Kenny Loggins!
Kenny Loggins, if like we talked about this the other night, Top Gun Maverick, whatever. If someone does like a shit rendition of Danger Zone for that movie,
Yeah.
they wouldn't touch it, surely.
If they remake that movie and someone does a Fallout Boy with Danger Zone, movie's fucked. Just get Kenny. Get him back.
Just drop the
Like,
same fucking track
he's-
in there, put it on the credits.
He's going to be working at Bay Marie at an RSL or something. Let's
You know-
face it.
or
know
doing
what-
episodes of Archer.
You
Yeah.
know what you see now, though, is like, instead of covering the song, they get like a female artist to cover like the song in a really somber, slow thing with
Oh,
just
yeah.
piano.
Piano.
And they're like, what's a really fucking, like,
Twilight.
take on me.
All right, I'm going to cut you off there because this is going to cut off if it doesn't. Thanks,
Please.
everyone. We'll see you next week on the Bearded Geeks. Hey!
Take me on.